We all have that moment. That moment we realise that our country is not the force for good in this world that we've been told. I call it a crisis of country. And if you haven't had that moment yet, it's coming. Believe me. For me, it was when I realised that my country, Great Britain, was torturing the best journalist that had ever lived. And it's quite difficult to believe your country is anything close to great at all when you realise it's been doing that for so many years. And when a crisis of country occurs, the shock of finding out that you've been lied to your whole life about the history of your proud nation, it can cause you to tailspin and react in a similar way to that of being diagnosed with a terminal disease. There are 5 stages of a crisis of country. And if you haven't had yours yet or are currently experiencing it, or a friend or a family member is going through this crisis, understanding these stages will help. And stage 1 is denial. You can't believe your country is doing that, can you? There's no way the entire mainstream media could have lied to you all about that and in such unison, could they? That's a crazy conspiracy theory, right? That guy on social media telling you that you've been lied to about almost everything and that he's been silenced for telling you the truth, he's just a conspiracy theorist, right? It doesn't matter what the subject matter is that causes your crisis. The reaction will be the same. And every time, though, when basic facts are checked, the truth continues to horrify. It's usually when a basic fact is checked that it sparks your crisis of country. Now, a person can stay a long time in stage 1. Did your country really do that thing? Did they really do all that in your name and with your money? There's a lot of stuff to check up on. So if you're currently still in stage 1, let me save you some time. Whatever the subject, the corporate media probably have lied to you in unison about it for years. Your leaders probably did do that horrifying thing in your name and with your money. And that person on social media screaming that they've been silenced for telling you the truth probably has been. And once you can accept that, once you can accept there are no depths to the depravity of these people, you're ready for the next stage. And stage 2 is anger. Now be careful with anger. It can get you in a lot of trouble. Finding out your politicians and journalists are all liars for hire and maybe even pedophiles too, or no, to look the other way, can lead to some quite dark and destructive thoughts. One of my friends ended up in prison during this stage just for something he said about a politician. Fortunately, the worst that happened to me was Diane Abbott blocked me on Twitter. Take plenty of breaks during this period, lots of them. If your blood begins to boil, take a breath and a step back. And remember that you are right to be enraged about what you've discovered. You are right to be enraged that your children's futures have been put in such peril by these people. Understand that your anger, though, is not really anger. It's righteous indignation. You are right to be enraged. Your skin is crawling and your blood is boiling because that is the emotion you should be having right now. You are absolutely correct in feeling the way you do, but try not to let your anger get the better of you. Anger is the correct emotion because it's a useful one, but try and find a way to use it in a positive way. Use it as a fire that drives you rather than consumes you. And if you find a way to do that successfully, please let me know. To get through that though, stage 3 is bargaining. But look at all the great stuff my country has done in the past, I hear you cry. No, just because your country invented something or other that we all use in our phones or gave us the internet or makes the best cheese, that doesn't make up for crimes against humanity. During this stage, you may find yourself doing something similar. You may find yourself defending the crimes of your country by reciting all the great things that has been done historically back at anybody, reminding you of your country's crimes, as if somehow one thing negated the other. It doesn't. And neither does telling anybody exposing the crimes about Great Britain, in Britain, to go and live in Russia then if you like it so bloody much. They're exposing the crimes of your government. That's patriotic. It is natural, I get it, for a person to want to protect and defend their country. I love my country. That is why I want to make it better. I want to make it the best country in the world. I don't want to go to Russia. Wanting to make your country a better place is the most patriotic thing a person can want. But a patriotic person can become very depressed in the face of this if they see their great country going to the dogs and nothing being done about it. And that's where stage 4 comes in. Depression. Now, I've been depressed at many times in my life. It's something I've struggled with a lot in the past. But fortunately, though, because of these struggles, when I hit stage 4 of my crisis of country, I had the tools required to get myself out of it pretty quickly. It takes hard work to be depressed. Depression begins with a negative thought. You have to have that negative thought, and then that negative thought fuels a negative emotion, and that negative emotion manifests into a negative action. And this leads to more negative thoughts and more negative emotions and more negative actions. And the cycle continues. And before you know it, you feel like you're rapidly spiraling through the 7 circles of hell, incapable of escape. Positive thinking isn't going to get you through this on its own. It will help, but it's not going to be enough. Just reciting good things your country has done in the past or some positive thoughts will just get you stuck in stage 3. You're going to have to make some serious changes to get through this stage. Your food affects your mood. What you eat affects you mentally. If you eat and drink shit, you're going to feel like shit. Limit your consumption of depressants like alcohol. They are not going to help you during this stage. And eat as healthy a diet as you can. Also, adopt a regime of regular exercise. I know it's boring, but it works. Trust me. Regular exercise is found to be more effective against depression than any antidepressant drug your doctor might throw at you. Tell your family and friends as well. Don't isolate yourself during this stage. Tell them how you feel. Connecting with other people during this stage is crucial to getting through it. You might find them to be feeling exactly the same way as you if you connect with people during this stage. But there is no quick fix to depression. Other people will help. But being depressed is hard work, and pulling yourself out of it is even harder. But if you get through it, stage 5 is acceptance. Congratulations. You are finally emotionally and physically ready to accept that your country is not the force for good in the world you thought it was, and ready to try and make it a better place. You're ready to accept that those arguing you, calling you a Putin puppet and asking you how many rubles you're being paid are victims of lies and propaganda themselves. You understand that they're most likely just having a crisis of country of their own, and they are going through a similar experience to one that you've just been through yourself. You're more patient than before. You're ready to explain to them just why you're not their enemy, and show them that their enemies are the people who've treated them like mushrooms by keeping them in the dark and feeding them on bullshit for so long. They've been doing it to us our entire lives, you know. Let's go fight those bastards together.